The first light of dawn gradually broke, lifting the curtain of the silent night that covered the Kruger wilderness. The bright orange gradually dyed the eastern sky, spreading gently across the vast grasslands like a shimmering silk that stretched to the horizon. The cool morning air carried the scent of wild grass, dry soil, and the faint traces of the chase from the night before. As nature begins to awaken, the cruel laws of survival begin to speak once again. Every creature is clearly aware that life today is not a given, but the result of vigilance, ingenuity, and luck. High in the sky, hawks spread their wings powerfully, circling like silent shadows in the new sunlight. Their keen eyes followed every movement on the ground, where life and death were only a hair's breadth apart. Below, among the waist-high yellow grass, white lions, the legendary and rare kings of the jungle, lay in silent ambush. Hidden in the tall grass, Madamba, the buffalo lion, lay prostrate on the ground. His sharp eyes never left the buffalo herd in the distance. His two cubs, their fur as white as the snow falling in the middle of an African summer, also watched with bated breath. We were young and didn't know how to hunt. The wind blew, making the grass ripple like waves, but Madamba didn't move. It waited for a moment. A breath, an opening, and then explosion. A roar tore through the air. Madamba launched himself straight into the herd, as fast and precise as a living arrow. The herd panicked, dust flying into the sky, bellowing and hooves beating like war drums. The battle for survival had officially begun. There was no room for hesitation, no time for mistakes. This was a battle of speed, strength, and even cruelty. Because here, on this burning steppe, there was only one rule: the strong survive, the weak are eliminated. Via, under the scorching sun of the harsh South African plains, where every blade of grass struggles to withstand the dry heat, and the winds carry a suffocating, vicious air like the breath of death, a rare miracle happened. In a small family of lions living hidden on the edge of the reserve, two pure white lion cubs just cried out at birth, like strange bright spots in the harsh picture of wild nature. Enban MCC Han. Their fur was pure white, a color that did not belong here, between the burnt yellow of the grasslands and the camouflage brown of their kind. Their difference was the result of an extremely rare genetic mutation, which made them symbols of the extraordinary from the moment they appeared on this world. But that same white fur, seemingly beautiful and pure, was the first burden they had to bear. Kruger is not only a wildlife haven, but also a predatory arena. Lions, leopards, crocodiles, and countless other species fight for survival. In a vast savanna, a group of lionesses are searching for prey. They spot a white lion cub, its bright fur standing out against the yellow grass. But fortunately, Madamba, the strong mother, hid herself and saved her cub from danger. A small victory, but an important one. Today, her children are safe. Despite living under the protection of their mother, the life of white lion cubs is not easy. They have to face the brown lions in the pride, who are bigger and stronger and often steal their food. But the white lions are never easily defeated. They are always ready to fight to prove that they are not weak. That is how they learn survival lessons, not only from their mother, but also from conflicts within the family. These small battles will temper them, preparing them for the harsh life ahead. As the white cubs grow older, they learn to hunt, from impalas to leopards and cheetahs. But in the wild, their difference, their white coat, is always a major disadvantage. While other lions can easily hide in the savanna, they cannot. This is not only a survival challenge, but also a great lesson in life. One day, 3 strange male lions appeared, not to join the pride, but to kill. The new male lion would destroy the cubs of the old male to maintain his bloodline. Madamba and Kanya understood that if they did not flee, the whole pride could be in danger. And so, one dark night, they decided to move out of their familiar territory, leading their cubs to find a new shelter. From this moment on, they were no longer rulers, but fugitives, fearing for their safety. In the sweltering heat of the afternoon, the tired but resilient lionesses made their way through the sparse bush, their sharp eyes still scanning their surroundings. Hunger was becoming increasingly severe, and Madamba knew that if they did not hunt today, their chances of survival would become even more tenuous. The herd split up and quickly spotted an old buffalo, an easy target. But a small mistake could expose the herd to a fierce counterattack from the entire herd. Only absolute precision would keep them alive. And then victory came. After hours of ambush, pursuit, and life-or-death struggle, the pride finally subdued their prey. The scent of blood hung in the evening air as the sun sank behind the dense trees of the Kruger grasslands, dyeing the sky red as a sign of life taken and of life continuing. But Kruger is not a place where any creature can rest for long. There is no such thing as permanent safety. Every day is a new battle against hunger, disease, enemies, and even each other. The battle for survival in the wilderness is never over, and it will not allow the careless to survive for long. Over time, the white lions gradually matured, becoming not only talented hunters, but also true warriors of the savannah. The long days of trials have tempered them into strong creatures, capable of hunting independently, confronting enemies, and even defeating leopards. They have learned not only to fight for their lives, but also to fight for the right to exist in a cruel world. But most importantly, they learned to never give up. The white lion cubs, with their strange coats, overcame all prejudice and hardship. While their differences made them targets, it was precisely their differences that made them special, strong, and unbeatable. They wrote a story of resilience, of relentless fighting, and of the power of nature. Ben MCC Han. Today, they are not just white lions, but symbols of life in a challenging world. And as the sun sets over Kruger, one thing is certain: the fight for survival will continue, and these lions, like all others, will continue their journey. For in nature, there is only one rule: the strong survive, and the weak are forgotten. Under the vast skies of Kruger, a cruel and mysterious world awaits. The white lions have won a long battle, but the battle for survival has only just begun. Their story continues, and their traces will forever be imprinted in the hearts of all wild creatures, a reminder of the power of survival instinct and the relentless resilience of nature. In the grasslands of Africa and the remote countryside of South Asia, hidden in the trees or beside peaceful rivers, lives a small but extraordinary bird, the weaver bird. Despite its unassuming appearance, it is not only a master nest builder, but also a genius architect of the wild world. Weaver birds, members of the Prosidae family, are native to sub-Saharan Africa and parts of South Asia. Their ideal habitat is open grasslands, open forests, or near rivers, where natural materials are available to build magnificent structures from dry grass, leaves, and plant fibers. At first glance, it looks like a tangled mass of trees hanging overhead. But when you get closer, you'll be surprised to discover that it's a miniature city where hundreds of weaver birds are constantly working. Each nest can be up to 7 meters long and weigh more than a ton, an astonishing number for a bird that is only 14 centimeters long and weighs less than 30 grams. What is special is that the nest is not built by a single individual. The whole flock of birds, male and female, contribute their efforts, little by little, to create that giant complex. These collective houses can last for hundreds of years, providing shelter from the rain and sun for the whole flock in the harsh, arid desert environment surrounded by wind and sand. The females will fly to inspect each nest, assessing its strength and meticulousness. If the nest is not up to standard, they will coldly destroy the whole thing, forcing the males to start over. Only the best architects have the chance to continue their lineage. Not only beautiful and sturdy, bird nests also have excellent insulation. Even in the harsh desert sun, the temperature inside the nest rarely exceeds 30 degrees Celsius. And when night falls, the outside temperature can drop rapidly. But thanks to the warmth of hundreds of batas packed close together, the nest always maintains a stable temperature. However, not all individuals in the flock are equally diligent. Those who are not closely related tend to be lazy and avoid nest building. But no matter how sturdy the nest, these tiny birds face a myriad of dangers, from venomous snakes to birds of prey to humans themselves. Yet, thanks to their intelligence and incredible nest-building skills, weaver birds have continued to survive and thrive for thousands of years. In another world, where blue waters weave through dense forests, there's another bird that is equally famous for its aerial killer abilities, the kingfisher. These birds, with their long, sharp beaks and soaring flight, are millimeter-precise hunters. Belonging to the Alcedinidae family, there are more than 90 species of kingfishers, distributed all over the world, from European rivers, Asian rainforests, African swamps to the coast of the Americas. A kingfisher sits quietly on a tree branch close to the water, its laser-sharp eyes observing every ripple. When it spots a fish lurking below, it dives down, flicks its tail, and lands on a nearby rock. A tap on the rock, and after just a few seconds of observation, the prey has disappeared in its sharp beak. They can see through the water, precisely calculating the refraction of light to perfectly locate their prey. Once they have identified their target, the kingfisher darts like an arrow at speeds of up to 40 kilometers per hour, and in just a split second, its sharp beak. Today, however, kingfishers are struggling to survive. Water pollution, habitat loss, and over-harvesting are pushing many species to the brink of extinction. Traveling through the dense jungles of South America, we come across a creature with a striking plumage and a huge beak, the toucan. Its beak can be as long as a third of its body, but because it is hollow inside, it is surprisingly light. The beak is used not only for picking fruit, but also to regulate its body temperature. When a bunch of red fruit is spotted, the toucan gently approaches, picks it up with the tip of its beak, tosses it lightly into the air and swallows it whole. Toucans also play an important role in the tropical forest ecosystem. By eating the fruit and dropping the seeds far away, they contribute to the dispersal of plant species, helping the forest recover and grow. Despite their parrot-like appearance, toucans are actually members of the Rhamphastidae family, with around 40 species found mainly in Central and South America. They live in flocks of 5 to 10 birds, communicating with each other by making loud calls that echo through the treetops, not only to communicate, but also to warn of danger. Instead of building new nests, toucans make use of existing tree cavities, often old woodpecker nests. When the chicks hatch, they do not have large beaks like their parents, but after a few weeks, their distinctive beaks begin to develop, a promise of a magical journey into adulthood deep in the forest. An MCC Hun. In the midst of a vast and turbulent world, small creatures like weaver birds, kingfishers, or toucans still diligently live, love, build, fight, and nurture the next generation, as if nothing can slow down the fierce rhythm of nature. And then, as the sun sets over the African grasslands, the Indian rivers, or the Amazon jungles, the birdsong still echoes in the wind, a gentle yet poignant reminder that nature is not just a place we visit, but an inseparable part of ourselves.